Conversations with leading experts in enterprise resource planning. Evolving ERP. Powered by Insight Jam.
Hello and welcome to Evolving ERP. My name is Ryan Daly, your host and producer for Insight Jam's place for all things enterprise resource planning, and celebrating now, as of today's recording, our 500,000th subscriber to the Insight Jam channel. So if you're catching the show feeling left out, that you're not one of those 500,000 people, we'll be the 500,000 in first, or whatever the count is at now. Go right down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because preemptively, I think you're going to like this conversation, because on the show, we have two ERP powerhouses. Of course, you know, Judith O'Callahan. Welcome back to the show, returning champion.
Thank you.
And for the first time on Evolving ERP, Paul Byrne. Welcome to the show, Paul. Yeah, I think I was pointing out before the show, I believe we are equidistant from each other on the globe. I'm in the eastern United States. Paul, where are you located exactly?
In Dublin, Ireland.
In Dublin. Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't want to presume. And then Judith, all the way in Australia. You might be the furthest one. But anyway, Paul, since it is your first time on the show, why don't you let the people know a little bit about yourself, where you're coming from, and what got you into ERP?
Oh, goodness. Right. So I've been doing ERP I stopped counting at 25 years.
Fair. That's fair.
I kind of ran out of fingers and toes, right? That's not to say I've got 25 fingers and toes, but, that's a whole other topic. I almost fell into ERP because my dad had a music venue, and he used to go through the white paper you take off the cash register. I built him a system where he could see real-time, live, coming off all the cash registers, and he could see what people were taking across the bar in real time. I built it with zero budget and cables everywhere and little green screens and all sorts of back in the day, right? And he hated me because it was... I was upsetting his office because of all these cables and monitors and stuff. He never paid me a dime. But then he got addicted to it. And when it would fall over, which it did all the time, because I was using an old BBC computer, and I upgraded to a Commodore 64 to get it all working. And then he got so addicted to it that when it would fall over, he'd kill me for it not working. So I then pushed it out for the cash receipts for getting into the nightclub. And, I see today, very many organizations don't have that real-time receipts coming in. It's all recorded to be later defined in reports and whatever, which for me is kind of shocking, considering that I was doing it 40 years ago.
That technology is out there. I think this is why I like to ask, because everybody seems to have a different way into this. It's a field that touches so much of the sort of back end of everyday life, but you're definitely the first to come at it from the entertainment side of things. I was not expecting that at all. So thank you for sharing that story, and hopefully your father's paid you back in other ways. You won't have to sue for treble damages or anything like that.
Now I got a pretty decent career out of it, because I learned a lot as I went along. I was making it up as I went along until I actually jumped into ERP properly. I was talking about workflows to people who didn't have a clue what a workflow was, approval systems, and then I had to change my language to a business language, going, what does it mean to you? And then they got it. So, it was a very interesting journey.
Absolutely. Wow. Fascinating stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to turn over the conversation to the two great minds of ERP here. I'll see you back at the end of the show. So Judith and Paul, take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, Paul, and good to see you again in this platform. So we both are passionate about transformation, be it digital or business. So let's get into it.
And I'm incredibly cynical about digital
All right.
because, as you know, but digital is, for me, it's just a buzzword, right? I get your take on it, but it would be good to understand for the audience as well, just that what is in your mind? Because if I ask three people what digital transformation is, I get five answers.
Awesome. That's like any economist, right? So if there are 9 people, there are 10 answers. So let's talk about business transformation first. So this is something we both are passionate about, and we both have seen businesses transform in our lives and people taking different avatars and stuff. So let's start with your career, Paul. You've had an amazing career, and I adore you, as you know, personally and professionally. What you have done for ages, for businesses or for countries or for any of us as humanity, your contributions have been significant. So from your perspective and your very long career, let's talk about it. You have seen businesses come in and go. So what does business transformation mean to you?
In its core, you've got business and you got a business problem. And that problem can be solved by some form of technology. Technology enables the business to succeed. So, yeah, without getting biblical here, in the beginning, there was business, and we bartered, for with some kind of commerce. As we moved on, we invented money to swap for a value for an item. As things got a bit more complex, and that person, let's call that person Judith for a moment, she expanded her domain to multiple cities, towns, countries. Now you needed a system to be able to control that, because you had lots of stuff on bits of paper, and it worked for you when you had a single mom and pop store. But now that you've got 5, 10, 15, 20 stores, you need some tool to do the job. So therefore, and here's my key piece: you digitized everything you had on paper and put it into a computer system, and you transformed the business to from a paper-based business into an electronic-based business, with the electronic not leading the business. The electronics are enabling the business to expand and grow.
And that's good. So for me, business transformation, my take on it is very, very simple. So you had a business, whatever that business is, let's say selling sweets. Yeah. So you did it really well. And at one point in time, the business as a team, you realize that selling sweets is not going to sustain you anymore. So for the business to stay longer, you need to move into different types of things. So then instead of selling sweets, or rather instead of selling lots of sweets, he decided to sell a little bit more healthy stuff and a little bit more greens, or moved on to groceries and other things like that. So for me, that is business transformation. So moving on from one product or doing one thing to different kinds of things. So over the years, we've all seen businesses come and go, and some businesses evolve. So we've seen, like from where I'm from, I've seen a few changes in businesses. Companies that were known for one thing, like for example, my dad always goes to the sweet shop. So it is known as a Lala shop. So every city would have one store that would be selling sweets, or we called it Lala shop. Everybody goes there. But now Lala shop actually means it's a grocery shop. It became a synonym for that. They stopped selling sweets because that's not their primary source of income, and they are selling groceries. For me, that's a business transformation, and this same shop will sell other things as well eventually. But end of the day, this is a type of business transformation that happens as we speak, in us, around us, all of it. So we learn and we move, we do what we need to do to keep the business float. So that's very, very simple. It's not driven by technology and technology has, in this case, no part to play in it. They're still non-digitized, use pen and paper to do their trade. There's still mom and pop shops and everything else.
All
So
right. I get you there now. I understand. And I would more call that as in morphing and changing your markets and changing your SKUs. And I'm going to get this wrong, and I'm sure somebody will correct me, but I think Tata, the business, started off as a lumber company. They built a city in central India somewhere, manufacturing, but I might have the product wrong.
yeah,
But it didn't start off as an IT company or
yeah,
consulting
mm,
company.
they're
No,
steel. Yeah,
steel.
steel.
Okay, was it? Sorry, apologies about that. The product. But if you look at Nokia,
Mm.
Nokia did start off as a lumber company.
Mm.
Now, okay, many of our listeners today might not know what Nokia is. You know, a couple of years ago, it was the cell phone, mobile phone that we all desired to have until we got, our smartphones and whatever. And I've seen a lot of scary stories with that, where the people who serviced the Nokia phones of the day had a 24-hour SLA to turn it round. And as the smartphones came online, the SLA didn't change because the phone is now much smarter, but also much more complex. There is not, just a couple of, cables inside to fix or, replace a screen because it's a touch screen, right? They didn't have cameras and they weren't phone recorders and they weren't, voice recorders and all sorts of other things, because the power of that thing is in our hand. I believe it's got more power than they had in the first Apollo spaceship. But they still had the same SLA of 24 hours to turn the device around. And a lot of friends of mine that are in the industry, we can't do that any longer. Well, hang on, you've got an SLA, but you've changed the product. Doesn't matter. You still have to fix it in 24 hours. So it's a transforming and evolving business, because they're creating a desire for a new object of desire, a new product. Because, if you roll up to friends today with an old Nokia phone, they'll all kind of laugh and smile at you. Or maybe they'll think, hey, that's actually quite cool. I want one of those. Because,
Retro.
not only retro, I'm not going to walk in front of a car or into a manhole because I'm looking at my phone all day long. I was walking with the dogs last night, and I was in a part of the park, and, I'm looking at my phone, and a guy just appeared in front of me, but he was with his dog. But he frightened me because I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings because I'm too busy looking at the cell phone, right? And we've all seen the funny videos, the people falling down manhole covers, and not so funny for them, but, it's funny to watch on TikTok or whatever, But that's transforming business, in my mind, not business transformation. So when I say business transformation is, we need a business strategy. So we don't need a digital strategy. We need a business strategy for the digital age. So that business is evolving. The business has always evolved from day one, where you had the bartering, I'll give you a fish if you give me some bread, and then we change it with a currency. So the only constant is change. And unless you want to do a 180-degree flip on your business model, aka Nokia changing from a lumber company to a telephone company, and well, I don't know what they do today. BlackBerry 10 years ago, people all had that. Now they do security devices and they do smart devices for automobiles, cars, right? Tata, how many different products do they make today? And most people will probably know Tata as the consulting company. When I go to London and I look at the Heathrow Express train has got Tata on it, I'm like, wait, what if they? I can't translate that into another product set that they do. Is that them diversifying? Because they
Maybe.
diversify many different markets. I'm still kind of fighting with you a little bit on the, is that transforming a business? Is that expanding the SKUs? Is that evolving?
Want more Insight Jam? Follow us on Instagram for exclusive content like a daily dose of best practices and buying advice from industry experts and leading solution providers. Or subscribe to our YouTube channel for long-form highlights from our expert panel discussions. The Solutions Review team is hard at work collecting the best enterprise technology information from around the globe, so don't miss out.
So it could be anything, right? So for me, digital transformation is very, very simple. So the business is the business. For example, I'll start with something very simple. What got me very passionate about digital transformation, and this is a story that I've shared with you privately. So one of my very first implementations of SAP was in a sugar company. So it was in the middle of nowhere and with limited electricity, like 6 hours a day, and they had a cogeneration plant generating electricity, which helped the plant. And they had one desire, to be able to trade sugar with rest of the world. How do you do it? Middle of nowhere, no way of getting anything right. And even the vehicles that we see as trucks, lorries, and other things were not there. So it was bullock carts, and they brought in the sugar cane, and it operated only at a specific season, and you definitely needed the cogeneration plant to keep everything going. So yes, a team of X people were given this task, and I was very blessed to have the opportunity to be there. The challenge was none of us in the team spoke the language that was native to that region, so it was a very big deal of learning. And the workforce in that organization, most of them couldn't read or couldn't write. So everything was in people's heads. So for me, digital transformation in this case enabled, we put in SAP, yes, we did it in a very short period of time. And this was amazing team come together. And it's a completely different story for a different podcast. But for this purpose of digital transformation, for me, what it actually meant was when they went live and now they're trading with the rest of the world, as equals, they're able to sell their product, which is sugar, in different forms, and they have the capability to do it. The reason why they are using technology to be able to monitor what they produce or plan what they produce, and now they have things like internet to be able to, internet e-commerce to be able to connect with the rest of the world and to do it. For me, that's a case of digital transformation. So you're enabling, technology is an enabler for that business or for that specific business, and it helped elevated their position in the world, and it helps them and their stakeholders to be able to trade and be a part of rest of the world. And there are so many businesses in the world like that as we speak. It doesn't have to be this dramatic, but simple things that technology can enable. So one of the recent clients that I had, that I worked with, was helping helping plan the maintenance or help predict the maintenance cycles for that business. For that business, it meant a lot. So that insight that technology was able to provide to be able to do what they do was amazing. So yeah, this is my definition, or this is my take on digital transformation.
To get there, somebody or a group of people had to have a vision, a business vision. Within 1, 3, 5 years, we want to be able to get from our sugar cane to transform it. Yeah, sorry, excuse the use of the pun, and a business or digital transformation. We need to transform the product from a plant into that sticky substance we all know as sugar, and then get it to the market. They were stuck with, bulls and carts, and therefore they were only able to get it a certain distance, because you've got to feed the animals, and only after a certain period, the wheels of the carts are going to only last so long. But their vision, we've got a great product, and I want people on the other side of the planet to enjoy this product, whether it's in candy or sweets or in your tea or your coffee or whatever, right? On your cakes, whatever. because they had multiple use cases for the product to get it. But the challenge they had was to get it to market. Now, at the same time, somebody else had to say, hey, we're this like small but dynamic company in the middle of India, and no one else understands our language. But we need to define a marketing plan, awareness of our product. Now, sure, in a lot of other countries, they make sugar as well, right? So how do we differentiate ourselves from that product, from those other organizations, and get our best product to people are going to pick up our product on the shelf, not one of our competitors' products. And potentially as well, maybe we want to sell our core product to our competitors as the base for whether they're a bakery, whether they're a sugar company themselves and they need extra. I won't go into company names, but many, many years ago, we went to a tour of the Cognac region in France, and we were in one of the chateaus, and one of the competitors' trucks came up the driveway, and I was like, "Hey, your competitor looks like he's took a wrong turn, and he's coming into your chateau." And he went, "Me no man, we're a little bit short. They're a little bit short. So, we scratch your back, they scratch our back. Okay, so but our product is the same. They make their flavor of the product with their ingredients to bring that to market. The same with the sugar company. So multiple ways to market, multiple things it can be consumed, multiple use cases for it. That, again, for me, from vision to strategy to target operating model, marketing, that is, and sorry to be pedantic, business transformation.
What did technology have to do with it in this case?
Nothing. And that's why, now there's a really good point. So digital transformation is probably the most unfortunate name of anything because it doesn't always involve a technology. Because if you put 9 people in a room, you're going to get 10 answers, right?
Okay. I totally agree with it, right? So, and this is my take on it. Yes, the strategy, the vision, and the target operating model, all of them had nothing to do with technology. But in this case, in the case of sugar company that I told you, that we talked about, technology was the enabler. Technology was the vehicle that got them there. So, this is a classic case of digital transformation for me.
But you digitized the business by taking everything from paper-based systems to a digital system. That's not digital transformation. That's just the tool that you use.
It transformed the business because from a business trading with only local people, it is now trading with the rest of the world. So that is transformation because your market has expanded. The way you need to think has to change. And the way you process things or the way you work on things have to change. In a local market, as you said, it's very simple, like the French cognac manufacturer. So, you're short on something, I'm short on something, so let's trade. That's great. But in an international market, would that be possible? Who knows? And again, the other things, the competitors are now very different. And the way you treat the competitors are different. So digital transformation, again, yes, elevated this company and also brought in a whole bunch of challenges. Now they need to think like the big boys. So
are we not pedantically arguing about a word or a terminology? And why I fight back against it is because it's not the latest, but it's a very misunderstood terminology.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And lots of people will have lots of different excuses, names, reasons, whatever you want to call it, for it. And I want to go back to basics, to the language most people understand. You understand business because you're a business person and you need to get it to market. So there's a difference. Digitization versus digital versus business transformation. So everything, if you like, is about business because the technology or the digitization is only an enabler to get it to market.
We agree both on that. We both agree
what
on that. So,
I'm rallying back against it is to fight against the buzzwords in business, because the
yeah.
latest, without going into that particular topic, early last year, people all spoke about AI. It's still, AI this, AI that, and it's going to change the world. And everybody got insecure about, I'm going to lose my job, a computer's going to steal my job. Same with Bitcoin, blockchain, IoT, computers, or, the industrial revolution. All of those were all going to change the world. But,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I work longer hours and harder than I've ever worked.
Yeah. So this is again a very interesting take on it, right? So digital transformation, we both agree. The word is just, people have, over a period of time, it has become a buzzword. It has lost its meaning. So our job, let's bring it back to the basics. So you're enabling the business with technology. So again, it is something philosophical for everyone to understand. But in saying that, as you said, Paul, there are challenges that we need to work with. Everything seems to be a cause for transformation. So AI, a lot of businesses in Australia especially think AI is going to transform their business. Is it going to? That's a question to be explored. The CIOs have this KPIs of implementing AI in their business. So why? And you go, if your business doesn't need AI, it doesn't need AI. And if it does, go ahead and do it. It's just another toolkit, another tool in your toolkit. Add to it and enjoy it. So again, treat every technology and give it the respect that it needs and use it where it requires. So I like that thing that you had on your LinkedIn once. So it's a caterpillar on a skateboard. It's not the same as caterpillar going through the process of transformation, beautiful transformation, and becoming a butterfly. So pick the type of transformation you need.
And again, my passion is getting away from the buzzwordy and talking to your audience. I'm sure, and I'd be really, really happy with feedback from anybody. Going, what is your one-liner, or what do you tell us digital transformation is? And I bet, hopefully people will get involved in the comments, but I bet there'll be 20, 30 different answers.
Oh, yeah.
So it would be really, really interesting to get that. Going back to the old, the Einstein quote, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't know what you do. Right? So keep, do the KISS methodology. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Or keep it stupidly simple, whatever way you want to put that around. Talk to your audience in a language, and I'm not talking about a global language. I'm talking in a way that your business will understand. Have you ever been in a C-suite where you're getting somebody is giving a wonderful presentation and they're all sitting around there going, yeah, wow. I'm the idiot in the room going, sorry, this is wonderful. Well, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Can you go back 5 steps? And then suddenly everyone's going, yeah, I didn't get it either. So they're waiting on the first agitator, being me, and very often asking the stupid question. Because I'm never afraid. And I battle against the acronyms and the 3-letter acronyms. I don't know, we've got a 3-letter acronym for 3-letter acronyms, right? TLA. But now we've got 4-letter acronyms. Hey, there's a question for you. Wait, what's the 4-letter acronym for 4-letter acronyms? Can't be FLA, can it? No, that's only a 3-letter acronym. You need to have a 4-letter acronym for it's get this. It's an ETLA. It's an extended 3-letter acronym. That's the mentality or the insanity I fight against, right? Now you've got, I haven't gone to what's a 5-letter acronym. It can't be an FLA. They have to have 5 letters in it. I haven't gone there yet, so I haven't got an answer for you. But I'm sure somebody will.
Somebody might, right? So, that's we humans are. So we always find answers for complex problems, which we have always found. So with digital transformation, the advantage I have is my 6-year-old keeps me in check. Every morning she asks me, what do I do for a living? And my answer to her is very simple. I help business use the technology that is available to be the best version of themselves. So that's the answer that I give her. And she seems to be satisfied with it. And she keeps me in check. And of course, she keeps you in check as well, also giving us realistic questions that come into our mind. But as you
No,
say, humanity is beautiful. Yes, there are buzzwords. Yes, we can get carried away. But end of the day, what does this all mean to us? So what is technology doing to us and to our business? If it is adding more complexity to our business, do we actually need it? Has anyone took a step back and asked that question? So in digital transformation, whatever you want to call it, so sometimes you and I, Paul, look at how many systems that is used, and we even question things like source of reference. So if you have 400 systems in an organization which employs 800 people, again, guys, time to scale down. Think about what you're doing.
very much. There you go. And back to your daughters, it's out of the mouths of babes, comes some serious honesty, right? Because they want you to explain it in terms of single syllables, if you like. I got a ride back from the airport the other night with a neighbor of mine. I offered them some help when they were in a job using a certain ERP system, and they were like, we're too smart. We know about it. I managed to explain three-way match in the car journey all the way back from the airport, and they were like, why didn't you tell me that last year? Because you weren't in listen mode, right? You're too busy being busy. Speaking with a client today, they're like, want to put everything into, I don't want to talk about particular ERP systems because I like to jump that up and go, it doesn't matter if it's Infor or Oracle or SAP or Sage or whatever else. Is it solving the business problem? I've got mutual respect for all of these tier one ERP systems because they do the same thing. They control your business. But they wanted to put everything into one ERP. And I'm like, well, actually, it looks like to control your manufacturing process, you want to have an MES system. And because it's tightly controlled all the parts, and when you come and make your next version of that, you need a product lifecycle management system because the bolts have to be a centimeter or an inch longer with a bigger head on the bolt, so you want to be able to make sure that you can make version 2 with the adjustments, because where that product is going to be placed is an extreme part of the planet, and it needs to be able to withstand significant environmental pressures, let's say. So if that part doesn't work on version A, we need to make sure that that part is tracked, and on version B, C, D, E, and F, and all of the future versions, we'll make sure that that particular part that failed is replaced on all future versions. So you're not doing it in your system of record, you're doing it in your system of differentiation or your system of innovation. Which one are we going to do it in? So giving them the tools that they want to do. And then I actually have to go back and explain to them going, currently they've got a lot of manual processes. So I said, what you're actually doing right now, you're at industry 1.0, like shoveling coal into a furnace, because you're extracting data from an ERP system, you're manually manipulating it, then loading it into another system. You get smarter, and you want to get to industry 4.0. Now, industry 4.0, don't get me wrong, that's a stretch for most businesses. What does it mean? It means your data anywhere in your organization available to any system that needs it, when it needs it, and is usable by any system. I'm not talking about data lakes, but data lake is possibly part of that. But the fact that you've got the business and all of your business users in all parts of the business can use that data, whether it's customer, vendor, business partner, parts of a machine, an EDI, a logistics supply chain, a production plan, a MRP run, whatever that is, it's translated into their business language so that they can utilize that. I've had stories coming back, but I remember fondly working with a lady called Grace. When Grace was on holiday vacation, or I was on vacation, they couldn't do the invoice run because it needed both of us, and Grace was in running invoices, and I'm feeding paper into the dot matrix printer. And she's shouting over the wall, going, no, that didn't work, Paul. I need to do it again. And I didn't get the triple layer paper for the invoices, fed into the dot matrix printer on its own. And we're upsetting the whole office because we're shouting over a paraffin wall, But, that's how we got paid for our product.
Yep.
And it was accepted that, hour of disturbance once a month. Because if we didn't get our invoices out, we weren't going to get paid.
Nobody got paid, so yeah.
Services didn't get paid for, product didn't get paid for, and then nobody got paid. So we found a way to do stuff, just like your sugar company, and they all, I don't know. Let me ask you this: Did they all speak the same language amongst themselves?
No.
So they respected each other as you do that, and Paul, I do that. But we know what those people do around the organization, even though we don't speak the same language. I know if I pass it on to Paul and his team, they'll get that bit done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then that was their idea of a workflow. Right?
Yeah,
I've done my bit, and
pass it on.
It's not even throw it over the fence, but we know that team do that, and they'll take over the process from there. We can't communicate to them in a human language that either understands, but we know there's the process.
Yeah.
Whether it's process or not, because you can always fine tune and mature the processes, and we can go into CMMI level 1 or level 4 or whatever, but again, I'm back to and I think we've landed on an agreement or agreed to disagree on the digital transformation, digitization, and business transformation.
Solutions Review is inviting you to join InsightJam.com. What started a few years ago as a social media event to celebrate enterprise technology has now grown into an always-on tech community with live events, discussions, videos, vendor showcases, and industry resources. Our vetted roster of experts, thought leaders, and analysts are sharing tips and tricks daily. So if you're interested in getting involved, join the long list of companies and brands who have already participated by visiting InsightJam.com today.
That's good explanation, right? So it is, but what we have is a great opportunity, whether anyone recognizes it or not. So, as humanity, we are at a point in time when the world is changing. So, like you and I agree, Paul, SAP has this deadline. Oracle has a very similar thing, and I'm sure most of the ERPs have a very similar challenge that everybody was navigating. So when we look at the ERP landscape as such, most of them have been implemented nearly 20, 25 years back. So that was when I started my career, and you were a leader at that point in time. So interestingly, 25 years, that's the lifespan of an average business. The business as such, like any business would have had those ERPs, would be in a position to transform themselves. So it's a very good point in time for that business as they look at technology to look at their business and say, is everything serving us? Or how has our business changed? Who are we serving now? Who are compared to who we were serving before? And what do we need to be doing in the future? So it's a very good point in time for a conscious boss, for any business going through this challenge, and look at themselves in the mirror and set their strategies straight for the next 25 years. That is what the leaders who implemented the ERP did. They knew where to take the business, so they believed that the ERP is going to help them with their plans and their EBITDA and everything else. And they did the right thing for that business at that point in time. So it's an opportunity for leaders who are going through this process now.
Let me say that a little bit.
Yeah.
And go, are our processes good enough for now that were 20 years ago? many organizations who have an ERP today don't need a new ERP. They already got one, and they don't always understand the wants of the vendor to give them the latest, greatest. Let me give you an example. So 20 years ago, Judith started a business and Paul started in the same industry. Judith was more successful than me. So she bought over my company, right? And thought, oh, okay, I've got a choice here. I don't like the way Paul's processes work because I'm more successful. And look, I bought him out. Great. But if Judith is honest with herself, you would go, actually, are my processes the best they could be? Because I set up the process the best way I knew how 20 years ago. And they still fit for purpose today to serve my customers up today, tomorrow, and the next period of time going forward. So the wise person will step back and go, not a new ERP system, a relook at all of our ingrained business processes. Are they fit for purpose for today? Not let's do what we've always did, because if you always do what you always did, you're always going to get what you always got.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't do the same thing and expect a different result. So, it's a great opportunity, though, both of us agree, for organizations going through this transformation to have this conscious pause and think about where they want to take their organization forward for the next, and set them up for success for the next 25 years. So that is where we are.
Vision, strategy, target operating model, and business transformation.
Awesome.
Get that little dig in there at the end.
I don't know if it's probably impossible to get the entire world to agree on a term, but I like your way of thinking, Paul. They're just terms. It's just head trash around words a lot of the time. It is about the purpose and the ethos behind it. Judith, I want to congratulate you on the successful acquisition of Paul's company. Nicely done. And actually, your story about your first ERP case and had the people at this sugar plant using bulls to pull carts as people have done for thousands of years. It was kind of eye-opening for me because I'm always, ERP software, the technology behind it is at its core, its process, and people have been using and implementing and thinking about process for millennia. I went and looked up the architect of the Great Pyramid of Giza, Hemiunu, I believe. Maybe the first person that we could name to use some sort of ERP. There was I guess if you look into it, a pretty grim process behind building it. But yeah, it's still around. It's maybe a testament to the lasting effects of not just human greatness, but human planning and ingenuity, and particularly resource planning. So thank you for that, Judith. I always appreciate an opportunity to think outside of the narrow lane there. So, that was awesome to listen to, Paul and Judith. Thank you so much for coming on Evolving ERP. Judith, we'll start with you. Is there anywhere you'd like people to look for you if they want to learn more, if they want to get involved?
Yeah, please follow me on LinkedIn. So I'm very active. I'll get back to your messages in 24 hours. And Ancient Wisdom Forums, that's the YouTube channel where I publish content. So please follow me there too. Yes,
I kind of Judith is a frequent poster on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go right over there, Ancient Wisdom Forums, and there's a lot of great stuff on there if you're interested in ERP and business digital transformation. I won't commit. Paul, where should people look out for you?
I'm quite active on LinkedIn, but we started Dragon ERP just 2 years ago, actually, very close to our birthday right now. And the idea is to get away from we call it less consulting puff, more delivery firepower. Given there is not a single answer to solving your business situation, getting you the best solution to your business problem. And that's what we're all about. It's removing the noise and the sometimes standardization that comes with, a lot of global consultancies, and giving people what they actually really need.
Excellent. So yeah, if you take away nothing else, LinkedIn, find Judith, find Paul. I can also attest that you both are frequent posters there. So if you want to learn more, get involved there. Dragon ERP, Ancient Wisdom forums, and Inside Jam right here. So again, if you've made it this long and you haven't gone down below, hit subscribe. Why don't you go do that right now? I'll give you. Okay, you should have done it by now. And that way you can stay informed, you can stay up to date for this show, Evolving ERP, and all of our different podcasts and panels. We have coming up in December, Insight Jam Live, which is a 4-day event, chock full of expert panels, keynotes, expert sessions. Stay tuned for that. It's coming. It's what a lot of my time has been devoted to recently. So I can guarantee it will be one heck of a time. So for Judith O'Callaghan and Paul Byrne, I've been Ryan Daly. Thank you so much for tuning in to Evolving ERP. We'll see you next time.